Okay, so if you're part of any strata community, you already know that sometimes disputes, well, they happen, and often they land at the Strata Management Tribunal. But what if a decision gets made against you and you weren't even there to argue your case? It feels like an automatic loss, right? Well, there's a really important piece of the law that could be your lifeline, and we're going to break it all down. Just imagine this for a second. You get an official-looking letter. It's an award from the Strata Tribunal, and it is not good news. But here's the thing. You never even went to the hearing. Maybe the notice got lost. Maybe you had an emergency. Whatever the reason, it just feels so wrong because you lost without ever getting to say a single word in your defense.
So what do we call this? In the legal world, it's basically a default judgment, or in this case, an award made in default. It's what happens when one person doesn't show up, and the tribunal has to make a call based on only what the other side presented.
And this is the part that really stings. That award, it is 100% legally binding. You have to comply with it. It can feel like, well, that's it, game over. But, and this is a really big but, it might not actually be the final word. The law has a built-in do-over button for situations just like this.
And this brings us to the hero of our story today, Regulation 48. It's part of the Strata Management Tribunal regulations from 2015, and it is the specific go-to legal tool designed for exactly this unfair scenario.
So what is it exactly? To put it simply, Regulation 48 gives the person who's been negatively affected, that's the aggrieved party, the right to go back to the tribunal and ask them to cancel or set aside that award that was made when they weren't around. It's your formal way of saying, hey, can we get a redo? Now hold on, you can't just apply because you didn't like the decision. The law is very clear. There are two specific grounds. The first one is the most common and it's super straightforward. A party just didn't show up to the hearing. The second ground is a little more technical. It has to do with something called paragraph 23A, but honestly, for most people watching this, that first reason is going to be the one that matters.
And here it is, straight from the horse's mouth, the regulation itself. You see that little word in there, may? May be set aside? That's really important. It means it's not a guaranteed win. But what it does guarantee is your right to ask. It gives you a clear legal path to fight that decision.
All right, so you're thinking this might apply to you. So what do you do next? You have to follow the process to a T. It's not complicated, but it is very, very precise. Think of it like a checklist where you absolutely have to tick every single box.
Seriously, getting this part right is all about the procedure. You could have the best reason in the world for missing the hearing, but if you don't file the paperwork correctly, your application could get tossed out before anyone even reads it. So let's pay close attention to these details.
Okay, here are the 4 non-negotiable steps. First, you need a specific document. It's called Form 16. Second, you have to write down, in detail, why you think the award should be set aside. Just writing, I wasn't there, is not going to cut it. You have to explain your reasons. Third, you need to submit 3 copies of that form. And finally, you have to pay the fee.
Now, for what is probably the single most important detail in this entire process, the deadline. You have exactly 30 days. Not about a month. Not 4 weeks, 30 days. There's no wiggle room here at all.
So when does that 30-day clock actually start ticking? It begins on the day the award was officially served on you. That's the date it was legally delivered, and there will be a record of it. You have to know this date because if you apply on day 31, you're simply too late.
Okay, you've filled out Form 16, you've written down your reasons, you've made your copies, and you filed it all within that 30-day window. Phew, you're almost there. But there's one last crucial step, and this one is all on you. That's right, you have to make sure that the other person or people from the original case get a copy of your application. The tribunal does not do this part for you. If there were a few different people on the other side, you got to serve it to every single one of them. It's about making sure everyone knows you're challenging the decision. So let's just quickly recap the absolute must-knows. First, a decision made when you weren't there is not necessarily the final word. You can challenge it using Regulation 48. To do that, you have to use Form 16. You've got that super strict 30-day deadline from the day you were served. And finally, it's your job to serve the notice on the other party.
At the end of the day, Regulation 48 is really all about fairness. It's the system's way of acknowledging that, hey, life happens, and it provides a clear pathway for you to actually get your day in court. It's a really powerful tool, but it's up to you to use it correctly and on time. So the law gives you that second chance. The only question is, are you ready to take it?